This is Anthony Richardson, and you're listening to RosterWatch.
This is AJ Brown, and you're listening to RosterWatch.
This is Josh Allen, and you're listening to RosterWatch.
Oh, yeah. Welcome back, everybody, to RosterWatch. This is the RosterWatch Underdog Pick'em Show. I am Cody Carpentier, as always, and it's Thursday Night Football. We got the Houston Texans and the New York Jets on this beautiful Thursday, Halloween night in October, the last night of the month of October in the 2024 NFL season. We have the Houston Texans traveling to the New York Jets in this game. The Jets somehow favored in this one. I know they're home, but somehow favored. It just doesn't feel right against the Houston Texans team that is 6-2 with their only two losses coming against strong teams, Minnesota Vikings and the Green Bay Packers. On the other side of the field, you have the New York Jets, who are currently on a 5-game losing streak with a narrow loss to those Minnesota Vikings happening way back when in Week 5. The only two wins in the season, scoring 24 points against Tennessee and against New England. This game might suck, friends. This game might suck. Go on over, make it not suck, to UnderdogFantasy.com today. Use that promo code ROSTER or RosterWatch. Get a deposit bonus up to 50%, up to $250. We'll have another show tomorrow, Friday, the big show, the big one, right? Last week we were 14-3 on the weekend slate. 14-3. 14-3, over 80% last weekend. Just a maniacal weekend on the year. We're closing in right at their 63% marker. Trash Man Alex and I will be live tomorrow talking about those picks. But today, prime time, Thursday Night Football, prime time on the year. We're just under 50%. We're not doing the best, but we're trying to get right. Week by week, you got to grind through. The process is sound. We're working on the weekends. It's the prime time stuff that's throwing us for a little bit of a tiz right now. So we're gonna jump right back in. This is the name of the game. You miss a few, you hit a few. We got to get back in the holster and we got to get going. Get back in the holster, get back in the saddle and get going. And we're going to get going here with the quarterbacks tonight. Our process was sound on Monday Night Football with Tyron Tracy and Jalen Warren in the receiving game. Both these guys got 2 receptions. If Tracy hadn't got his concussion early and came back and just focused on running the football, I think we do hit that receiving number. We get okey doke for a minute on the Jalen Warren side of things. I feel some type of way about that whole situation. Now, let's go to the quarterbacks. C.J. Stroud and Aaron Rodgers. Why are we attacking C.J. Stroud and Aaron Rodgers? Well, no Stephon Diggs. He's out for the year with a torn ACL. Nico Collins not going to play in this game. Allen Lazard for Aaron Rodgers just went down to the IR. So, of course, he's going to have Adams. He's going to have Wilson, and he's going to have Tyler Conklin. But Rodgers hasn't been this dominator through the air in his last few weeks, a part of the New York Jets either. When you do look at Aaron Rodgers' last few games, his number is at 236.5 passing yards. Has he got there? He's gotten there 3 times in the last 5 games. The 2 games he did, 225 against Denver, 244 against Minnesota. He got there, 233 against New England. This last week, he did not get there. He's going to be close. But we're going to take the lower on Aaron Rodgers, 236.5 passing yards. We're also going to take the lower on C.J. Stroud, 223.5 passing yards. Stroud had a game 2 weeks ago with 86 yards against the Green Bay Packers. He had 285 last week in a bounce back against Indianapolis, 192 2 weeks ago against New England. Why, Cody? Why are we taking these two numbers lower? 223 for Stroud, 236 for Rodgers, lower. Well, if you just go over simply to our friends over at NFLpro.com or pro.nfl.com, you can find out that yards per game, passing yards per game on defense right now, the New York Jets are number 1. They've only allowed 161.1 passing yards per game, and the Houston Texans are number 2, 164.3 passing yards per game. So I'm going to lean into that. When you look at an EPA per pass, they're both down there as well in the bottom. It should say the top 7 defenses when it comes to that. So we're going to go lower for Stroud, lower for Rodgers. Rodgers is the only one that's even close. I think Stroud's a layup here, especially with both Collins and Diggs out. The only way I think he goes over is if our friend Tank Dell just goes maniacal. His number is set at 60.5 tonight. So if you were tickling the fancy in that direction, you could do that. The other number I'm going to go here, I do like the 5.5 receptions for Devontae Adams. 8.5 targets is also out there, but I'm going to go 5.5 receptions. We've been kind of waiting for Devontae Adams to do something in this offense the last few weeks, and we just quite haven't got there. It's felt weird. It's felt like Devontae Adams has been on the cusp of truly I don't want to say truly like breaking out or anything, but establishing this connection with Rodgers, it's felt weird. It's felt like the last 3 games, all right? Or the last 2 games, I should say. Pittsburgh 3, New England 4. These guys know each other. These guys have a great rapport. I don't know why the rapport is not quite there. He's got a strong matchup tonight against Derek Stingley. If you can get this thing at 5, great. If you can get it at 5.5, that's okay too. I do think we get Devontae Adams there in prime time. We saw the prime time come out last week with Cooper Kupp and with Puka Nacua. These 2 guys returned from injury. I think Devontae Adams follows in that line, not coming back from injury, but technically he had a hamstring injury for a couple weeks there, but kind of coming back to the limelight here. I'm going to go Devontae Adams, 5.5 receptions higher. You're getting 1.06 times your cashola on that one. The other direction you could go on the Houston side here that does, interest me a little bit is the Tank Dell thing. Tank Dell's numbers 4.5 receptions in this one. If you're looking at other places, Dalton Schultz 6.5 targets. I'm scared off of that. Bobby Woods. If I'm going to go anywhere in Houston, I'm going to go something like a Robert Woods. If they got an Xavier Hutchinson, I know they got a John Mechie here. John Mechie's numbers 20.5 receiving yards, 1.5 receptions. John Mechie has downfield ability. Xavier Hutchinson 1.5 receptions. The interesting one with Xavier Hutchinson is 19.5 rushing plus receiving yards. I think there's potential for Xavier Hutchinson to get more work. I don't like. They really like Hutchinson. Everything we heard preseason about Hutchinson was in a favorable manner. He ran 65% of routes last week, which is his best since week 5, 67%, which is his second best in the season. More than Robert Woods, more than John Mechie. I think he's the one that I like in this situation. So I'm going to go ahead and put that as the 4th in here. It's going to be Xavier Hutchinson, 19.5 rush plus receiving. The reason I'm doing rush plus receiving is because the receiving number is 18.5. The rush plus receiving is 19.5. I only got to pay up for a yard. And the one thing I know about Hutchinson is he can take jet sweeps. He's going to take a jet sweep. He might take 2 in this game, and he could potentially get there if he, I think he's going to smash this, but let's say he doesn't get a target and he gets 2 carries. I think he can get there. So I'm going to go, it's kind of a little half insurance, half, betting on yourself there. So there's 4 picks right there. If you want to go standard, it's 12.72 times your cash. So you put $5 in, you get 63. Otherwise you can flex this play and you can get, what is it? If you flex this play, it's 7.63 times your money for 4 correct and 1.9x times your money if you flex it and you only get 3 correct. I'm Cody Carpentier from RosterWatch Nation. We appreciate you. We love you. We'll be back tomorrow, myself, Trashman, and Alex Dunlap for another weekend of smash props from Underdog. Go over to UnderdogFantasy.com today. Use that promo code ROSTER or RosterWatch and get a 50% deposit bonus up to $250. Those are the picks tonight. Aaron Rodgers, south of 236.5 passing yards. CJ Stroud, south of 223.5 passing yards. Devontae Adams, north of 5.5 receptions. And Xavier Hutchinson, north of 19.5 rushing plus receiving. I appreciate you. I love you. Click that like button, click subscribe, tune in, tap in, and we'll see you tomorrow.
This is Anthony Richardson.